It takes so many people to put a show like this together, and certainly you at home see the two of us, but there are so many people behind the scenes.
Absolutely, there's no question. And our next guest, we want to welcome candidate for Ward 1 City Council seats for the second time around. Joe Murphy has stopped on by. And Joe, great to see you again.
Great to see you guys. How are you?
Doing well. How about yourself?
How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Yeah, how are you feeling after the day today?
Oh, I'm exhausted.
You look a little tired.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Yeah.
But it was great. We had a
Yeah.
great time out with the volunteers today. It was just a lot of fun. I have such a fun crew, and we were out there, and we set up tents, and we had lights and music and snacks. It was
Really?
fun. Yeah.
Oh.
And talk about what got you into the race again. What was the driving issue or issues that made you want to compete?
Disappointment. I think what I kept hearing from my neighbors and fellow Ward 1ers is just disappointment with how it was going. They felt that there was no urgency to some of the infrastructure problems we were seeing. They felt they weren't getting represented. They felt there was a lack of communication. They felt very strongly that what was happening was our counselor was kind of representing the mayor's interests in Ward 1 rather than Ward 1's interest at City Hall. Based off the results, there are a lot of people who don't agree, but that's what got me in. Yeah.
Talk about your environmental policy and the green zoning task force.
Yeah, well, building practices are one of the major contributors to greenhouse gases. And I like to look at different ways to approach the environmental problem that are a little more palatable to people. So with the Green Zoning Task Force, we can modernize and green some of our zoning and building practices to the point where we're being good citizens of the earth, meaning we're doing things that help the environment, lower GHGs. We're doing things that are good for the builders, because the task force will be half tradespeople, builders who can work with the environmental people to find practices that not just work for the environmental people, but work for the builders. And with the combination of savings in efficiency and the builders having a good say on how we can do things that work for them, we can save people money when they, in their monthly utility bills and in their housing, the cost of doing the work. So if you can do all those things and be a good citizen of the world environmentally, it just makes sense.
Do you agree with the kind of the quick short-term approach right now, though, of increasing the height of the seawalls and improving the drainage just for kind of a short-term fix to the coastal flooding problem?
Yeah, and unfortunately, we can't do this without short-term fixes, because we could have another bad storm next week.
Right.
So we need to expedite those projects, and we need to get those seawalls built. But if we're thinking that that'll be it, and that we don't have to think about what's next, then we're kicking the problem down to the next generation, which is what the previous generations did to us.
And also the MBTA trains, but specifically buses from Ward 1.
Yeah. Well, I would love to take the buses home myself. The reason I can't is because they run so infrequently. And like on the weekend, if I wanted to take a bus to my house, like from like a day in Boston or something, I would have to go through Germantown first before I get to housing. What we need to do is just run more frequently and run directly. And if we do that, you're going to increase ridership, which will make it revenue. The revenue will work for the MBTA as well. And I'm all for public transportation. We need it. The congestion in Quincy and everywhere in this country right now is getting to the point where gridlock is everywhere. People's lives, we've become so used to it that we don't even realize how miserable it is. I mean, right now, there are days I'm sitting at my desk at work that I almost don't want to leave because I don't want to get on the T, And so it's like some master conspiracy to keep me at work,
Would you run again, Joe?
Oh, of course. I'm definitely going to run again at some point. I don't know if I'd run for Ward 1 again. I think I've given Ward 1 the option and choice this time around, and so I'm proud of that.
Mhm.
And I've put out a lot of ideas, and and I think I let people send a message to Councilor McCarthy. That they want a little more, and so I'm happy about that. So I don't know what's going to be next, but I'll definitely be running again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, please, thank you first of all for utilizing QATV to get your message out, and please consider an open invitation in the future.
Always.
Great.
Thank you.
Yes, continue to utilize Quincy Access Television.
I will,
Please.
Yeah.
And
Thank
tell
you.
all your friends and neighbors.
I will.
Thanks a lot,
Absolutely.
Joe. Good to talk to
Thank you so much.
We do have 29 of 31 precincts in now for unofficial election results today.